Hello, hello everybody. This is Sunko, the Korean bro. Today is 2022, July 3rd. Mm. Okay, let's look at articles. Okay, Yahoo Finance, mm, Market Beat. Mm, Articles do we have tonight? Okay. First things first, let's look at trend of stock tonight. We have upward trend overall. Uh, in my portfolio, I got a lot of good stocks on my list, and most of them have a green color. Green color means upward trend. Okay, what articles do we have? Tether slashes commercial paper holdings. How mRNA tech opened the door of UPS cold logistics. Credit card interest rates highest they've ever been. Analysts. Um, the problem is too many companies are collecting data. Mm. Northrop Grumman leads 55th place going on offense. All are nearby points. Which strong buy dividend stocks face the most upside? U.S. banks are dramatically undervalued. 8 stocks to buy. The 60-40 portfolio is supposed to protect investors from volatility. So why is it having such a bad year? The worst stock sell-off in half a century might not be done yet. 5 nausea stocks to watch and buy. Here are the fundamental and technical reasons why. It is so horrible that I want to buy it. Jim Cramer likes these two crushed tech stocks. They're still uh, posting white hot revenue growth. With bear market scars, these 23 stocks expect 9% to 3 minus 3 not minus 3 to 370% growth. How quickly the tables have turned. Falling mortgage rates have home buyers so emboldened they are asking sellers for cash. How wants to proceed for AMD stock, but the stock is too cheap to ignore, says analyst. Mark Zuckerberg makes a dark prediction. All trees dividend yields spike after Joe Ben. The payout looks secure. Berkshire stock market closes higher on first day of July. Berkshire Hathaway buys 9.9 million more Occidental shares. Stocks in crypto haven't come close to hitting the bottom yet. Hedge funder famous from The Big Short says, you can invest in Micron, but here's why you may want to wait. Yields are above 8%. It's time to get excited about income investing. Mark Zuckerberg issues dire economic warning to Meta employees. Bond market prices and Fed U-turn as recession risk rise. Recession is inevitable. Elon Musk now thinks there's a greater than 50-50 chance that the economy will decline. Here are three simple ways. General Mills and Micron raise their dividends. Banks should be lifting their soon too. Berkshire Hathaway owns 17.4% of Occidental Petroleum after new buys. We have a whole lot more to go down. Suze Orman says we're headed for recession and warns things make it a little bit ugly. Meta could be bracing for a tornado-like quarter. Webushi's denies. Wall Street profit expectations for mega banks cooled only slightly despite deep freezes. Crashes to crashes. What Asia learned from the financial chaos of 1997. Mark Zuckerberg has an original idea to get rid of employees. Banks get burned by risky debt, imperiling buyout activity. Crypto hedge fund three arrows files for U.S. bankruptcy. If you've got time, these three dividend aristocrats should pay off. It could take a few quarters for growth to re-emerge in semiconductor, analyst says. Coinbase launches derivatives product in crowded and depressed market. Texas Instruments stock is trading at a discount. Missed the big short, stock plunge maybe only 50% over. Tech stocks got crummed in the first half. The rest of 2022 could be worse. Let's shine a light on Lucy Motors as it slides downhill. Apple stock is under pressure. Why its earnings could trigger a rebound. Delta Airlines, Nike, Snap stocks that defined week. Biotech stocks are hitting, but we're still light on swing trading. Five-star analyst pounds table on Amazon stock, Tesla stock. Bitcoin prices keeps falling amid crypto liquidation fire sales. Investment banks prepare for lean times as deal spree spotters. China's slowdown could tame down global inflation. The five best core stocks for the second half of 2022. Stock market rally under pressure. Micron GM Nike RH warns weekly review. Crypto bill Dame Batman Fried Inks blocky deal as distress minus next. Richest billionaire to lose $1.4 trillion in worst half ever. The home goods boom is over, leaving the bed and batch stocks high and dry. It's now a good time for a Roth conversion. Okay, this is it. Okay, let's go over to market beats. U.S. taxing new fire retard and critics push other methods. Travel smarter this summer with this Rosetta Stone highlighted bundle. From AM to PM, the fickle force of government is with you. Recession is here. Watch out below. Holiday getaway pushes U.S. airport traffic to pandemic high. Argentine economy minister resides amid Pizzo, Lisa Woosh. Russians press assault on eastern Ukraine city. How to profit in the bear market, stop opportunities even when disaster strikes. Zim integrate shipping service, don't miss this dividend. What makes quantum scape on investing stock peak? Okay, first one. Top stable coin, Tether slashes commercial paper holdings amid crypto gloom. Tether, the world's largest stable coin, said on Friday had cut its commercial paper holdings by around 58% as part of an earlier commitment to reduce its exposure to riskier assets. Stablecoins, a variety of cryptocurrencies designed to keep a steady value, are in sharp focus after the collapse of the Terra USD token in May. Usually underpinned by reserves of assets such as its US dollar, gold, and government debt, stablecoins are widely used in cryptocurrency trading, and Tether is the predominant medium for moving funds between crypto or into regular cash. Tether's reserves consist of U.S. Treasury bonds and commercial paper, which refers to short-term debts issued by companies. The token has $8.4 billion of commercial paper and plans to reduce its holdings to $3.5 billion by the end of July, according to a statement. The company aims to reduce its commercial paper holdings to zero in a bid to address concerns about the quality of assets underpinning its token amid the crypto market meltdown. Next one, how mRNA tech Blue opened the door of UPS's cold chain logistics business. UPS will have doubled its healthcare facilities footprint by 2023. How mRNA tech Blue opened the door of UPS's cold chain logistics business as a result of an unprecedented demand for mRNA vaccines. And the company is making a long-term bet that demand for cold chain storage in medicine will only grow in coming years. Okay, because of demand for vaccine, uh, cold chain storage in medicine will possibly grow in the future. It's what it's saying. The logistics giant began building out millions of square feet of space as a result of its partnership with Pfizer Biotech, according to UPS Healthcare and Life Sciences President Wes Willer. But that only sped up a strategy the company was pursuing before the pandemic. Healthcare at UPS was part of its matrix organization. It was not a business unit like it is how it is today. It was not given the kinds of priorities that we've been given since I took the role. Willer told Yahoo Finance in a recent interview. Mm. It was not. It was not given the kinds of priorities that we've been given since I took the role. Pandemic aside, the market for healthcare logistics has been growing in recent years. Um, as more targeted treatments known as biologies takes hold. Mm. A cold chain storage, in particular, has become increasingly important as a result, with some projections estimating the market was past $225 billion by 2026. The UPS is among the top players, and market share only figures to grow as it targets new global hubs. The company was already on track to expand by roughly 1 million square feet per year, but in the past 2 years, UPS has added by 4 million square feet, Wooler said. That will put the company at about 50 million square feet by the end of 2023, compared to about 7.5 million square feet when Wooler started in 2020. Hmm. Okay, the point here is that sooner or later, UPS is planning to expand storage, and storage is not just storage; it's a cold chain storage for medicine. Um, because of possible medicine demand, it's gotta have storage, right? It's gotta have storage where they can keep their medicine, right? Because of that, its business is growing. This is what it says. Okay. And wait and take. The problem is that too many companies are collecting data. So let's see. Now that the Supreme Court has overturned Roe and Wade, the tech companies have found themselves in a tough spot as data privacy becomes a hot topic. Data privacy. Okay. And the magnitude of the problem is compounded by the sheer number of companies collecting data. Kathleen Cheney, fellow at the Center for Strategy and International Studies, told Young Finance Live, I think the problem is that there are just so many different entities that collect data now. Cheney said, our society is built around the internet. People often get their information from the internet, but it's not just big companies like Google or Facebook that collect data and can potentially share that data with the government. Where tech giants fall on the issue of abortion has become complicated. In the immediate aftermath of the decision, many companies, including Netflix, revealed that they would cover expenses for workers who need to travel to obtain an abortion. Okay, let's see. Let's see this in detail. I just cannot grasp the point yet. All 50 states are considering how they individually will deal with the outcome and implications of this decision. She said there are some states that are indicating interest in pursuing new abortion restrictions and passing new legislation, and others that are saying that our state will be a safe haven for anybody who chooses to get an abortion. So it's about yes or no on abortion issue. Is it? Chin noted that for tech companies, how and where the Dobbs decision interact intersects with data privacy is critical. In many instances, companies can and may reject the request from law enforcement and prosecutors as too broad. In other cases, they may comply. This decision really has put businesses in a difficult position, which is that every year, law enforcement agencies issue thousands of legal requests for data to private companies, um, including at the state and local levels. Now, companies need to consider how they're going to comply with legal requests. Also, for companies that do have voluntary contracts to share data with government agencies, they'll have to decide whether to continue to do so. So, so what I get is that in terms of collecting data, it's not only a company, it's not only like big giant company that deals with data, but also government is involved in this interaction. Government, giant company, they all aligned when working with collecting data, and this could possibly be related to uh, abortion issue. Hmm. Is it? It's hard to grasp the point. Anyway, it's not really related to stock, so I'm just gonna skip on this one. Northrop Grumman leads to five defense employees going on offense. All are nearby points. What is Northman Group? Okay, Northrop Grumman and AutoZone lead this weekend's wash of five stocks nearby points as investors increasingly look for companies whose sales and earnings can hmm, withstand a potential recession. Okay. Hmm. Like the defensive contractor and auto parts retailer, drug distribution mechanism, managed care provider Santen, and Artemis, whose new bipolar drug is off to a fast start, are defensive plays showing relative strength in a lousy market as the Federal Reserve engineers a slowdown or worse. Nope. Okay. Next one. Which strong buy dividend stocks face the most upside? Broadcom. Okay, this one is it. Broadcom stock is a designer and developer of semis and associated software. The chip stock plunge has been brutal to the $195 billion firm, which is now off 27% year to date. The company recently agreed to acquire virtualization software company VMware in a deal with $61 billion. Such a deal bolsters Broadcom software presence, and given the timing of the deal, there's a good chance that Broadcom walked away with a bargain. Add potential synergies into the equation, and the VMware deal is one that should be applauded by investors. Broadcom. Let's see. What do we have? What price do we have? Okay, good one, right? Broadcom, okay. The company recently agreed to acquire, okay. Despite Broadcom's diversification into software via M&A, the company is still subject to the ups and downs of the semi space. Though chip demand remains incredibly robust today, there's no telling what a severe recession could entail for the chip maker. On the one hand, networking chip demand seems to be on the uptrend. Mm, Thanks partly to the resilience of the enterprise, who's still more than willing to invest in the digital transformation trend. Hmm. On the other hand, it's difficult to gauge where demand will be at year end if further evidence of an economic slowdown materialize. If demand diminishes rapidly, any supply chain ramp up in response to semi shortage could lead to discounting down the road. Over many quarters, chip demand has been high, but supply is constrained. Once supply is back in order, there's no telling where demand will be. Mm. For Broadcom, there's a major near-term risk. Mm. Okay. And the next one is this Shell. Shell is old super major that finally slipped into a correction after running with the energy bulls for over a year. Okay, Shell is the company that I've seen when I was in States, and what I felt back then was that wherever I went, it's everywhere because it's the one that dominates. Mm, when I was in States. Anyway, let's keep on reading this and let's see what this author says. Shell is a British firm with a simplified share structure and a juicy 3.5% dividend yield following the latest pullback. As oil prices creep higher again, hello, hello. Hardly anybody comes here, and a new person comes here. Anyway, I was talking about Shell. Mm, let's skip on this one because the only companies that I'm interested are software companies, not the one that produces oil. Another one we have is a Hasbro. Hasbro is a toy company, but I'm just gonna skip on this one too. Mm. And U.S. banks are dramatically undervalued. A stocks to buy. Let's see what A stocks we have. Okay. Um. No, let's skip on this one too. Mm. It's so horrible that I want to buy. Gene Kramer likes these two crushed tech stocks are still posting white hot revenue growth. Apple and we have Nvidia. Nothing else. Apple and Nvidia. With bear market stochastic, these 23 stocks expect. Okay. Let's read this in detail. This year's bear market has mauled many companies, particularly ones high-flying tech and growth stocks like Nvidia and Meta platforms. The resulting sector rotation has put energy stocks and chemicals in the spotlight. Okay, the stock screen highlights 23 companies expecting at least 100% earnings growth in 2022. And what's on this list? Those continuing to prime big EPS estimates include Civitas Resources, Vaco Energy, Earthstone Energy, Crescent Point Energy, Marathon Oil, and Comstar Resources, blah, blah, blah. Daqo New Energy Corps. Marshall Dog prediction. Okay, Mark Zuckerberg, one of the influential person, one of the most influential person in this era, also predicts negative future. Okay, the CEO of social media giant Meta was cautiously optimistic during the first quarter results. The mood has changed at the headquarters of Meta platforms, uh, parent of Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp in Menlo Park. The atmosphere is beginning to resemble the currently found in many companies in America, where the consequences of a looming recession are feared. Okay. For months now, many economists have been anticipating a sharp downturn in the economy due to aggressive monetary policy by the Federal Reserve and central banks around the world to combat record price increases everywhere. Sharp downturn in the economy due to aggressive monetary policy by the Federal Reserve and central banks around the world to combat record price increases everywhere. The Russian war in Ukraine has further exacerbated the supply chain problems caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, this cocktail, experts say, will affect consumption. Households should, these experts explain, reduce their expenses for fear of a disappointing tomorrow and focus only on essential expenses. Worst downturn. Mark Zuckerberg, CEO of Meta, now seems to share this pessimistic view. During the traditional weekly Q&A session with company employees on June 30, he said he expected one of the worst downturns that we've seen in recent history, according to an audio recording obtained by Reuters. Consequently, Meta will accentuate its cost reduction policy. The firm only plans to hire between 6,000 and 7,000 new engineers in 2022, against an initial project of 10,000 new recruits. It is therefore a revision of a 30 to 40%. In May, a source told the street that the social media giant was planning to halt, or in some cases slow, hiring for most mid to senior level positions. The goal was to revise priorities and align hiring targets with current market estimates and pacing, the source said. We regularly reevaluate our talent pipeline according to our business needs in light of the expense guidance given for the earnings period. We're slowing its growth accordingly. The Meta spokesperson told the street in an emailed statement. However, we will continue to grow our workforce to ensure we focus on a long-term impact. Okay, I get it. Mark Zuckerberg, CEO of Meta Platform, also makes a dark prediction. So, mm, like every other companies, it plans to hire uh, about 3,000 to 4,000 new employees against 10,000 employees, mm, which were the projection of experts. But Okay, what do we have? Next one. Ultra's dividend yield spiked after John Bull. The payout looks there. Whenever a dividend yield has a big move upward, it can signal trouble ahead, perhaps a dividend cut or worse. In the case of cigarette maker Ultra Group, okay, it's a cigarette maker. You can invest in Micron, but here's why you may want to wait. Yields are above 8%. It's time to get excited about income investing. Income-oriented investors, it's time to celebrate. There are suddenly many more opportunities in areas ranging from junk bonds to real estate investment trust after the bear market in stocks and bonds in the first half of 2022. The bond market yields in many cases have doubled to around 8% after one of the sharpest sell-offs in history. This enhances the diversifying power of bonds in equity-heavy portfolios and should revive interest in the traditional 60-40 mix of stocks and bonds. Recession is inevitable. Elon Musk now thinks there's a greater than a 50-50 chance that the economy will decline. Here are 3 simple ways to protect your money. Recession is inevitable. Elon Musk now thinks there's a greater than 50-50 chance that the economy will decline. Even Elon Musk has a negative expectation. Here are 3 simple ways to protect your money. What does he say about protecting your money? Healthcare, utilities, consumer staples. The U.S. economy made a strong recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic, okay? But according to Tesla CEO and billionaire Elon Musk, the good times might be over pretty soon. I think a recession is inevitable at some point. Okay, there's a good point. Recession is inevitable, and no one whom I think of as an expert think recession. We don't have a recession yet. That's the main point. Everybody thinks what we're going through is like the bottom point, but nobody amongst expert thinks we haven't hit the bottom yet. So I think a recession is inevitable at some point. As to whether there is a recession in the near term, there's more likely than not. As to whether there is a recession in the near term, that is more likely than not. It is not a certainty, but it appears more likely than not. Musk isn't the only one with this view. A new survey by the Conference Board shows that more than 60% of CEOs globally expect a recession in their region of operations by the end of 2023, which is next year. So another year of disaster. Okay. Consumer staples. The good news, some sectors are more recession resistant than others. Here's a look at 3 of them. Okay, recession resistant stock. Consumer staples are essential products such as food and drinks, household goods, and hygiene products. We need these things regardless of how the economy is doing. Okay. Utilities. The utility sector consists of companies that provide electricity, water, natural gas, and other essential services to homes and business. Healthcare serves as a classic example of a defensive sector thanks to its lack of correlation with the ups and downs of the economy. Healthcare serves as a classic example of a defensive sector thanks to its lack of correlation with the ups and downs of the economy. Defensive sector. So let's briefly sum up. Healthcare, consumer staple, and what do we have? Utilities like water, gas, electricity, some things that we consume on a daily basis. Okay, those are the ones that we have to keep in mind. It's like recession resistance. So by the end of 2023, those are the ones that we have to put my stock in. Not like the ones that's got to do with big giant high tech system. We have whole lot more to go now. Susan Warren says we're headed for recession. Worse things may get a little bit ugly. Here's what she says for safety. According to personal finance expert Susan Warren, more pain will likely come for the markets. Okay, more pain will come. Okay, Chevron, AT&T. Okay, what does she say? We're experiencing a bull bounce within a bear market. Bull bounce within a bear market. We're experiencing a bull bounce within a bear market. We have a whole lot more to go down. and comma gosh September, that's when we may see it get a little bit ugly. She says in a recent Yahoo Finance interview, the personal finance author, TV personality, and podcaster also sees trouble looming in the distance for the U.S. economy. I personally think we're heading into a recession, either at the end of this year or the beginning of next. Oh gosh, so 2023 or the end of this year. And what articles do we have next? Mark Zuckerberg has an original idea to get rid of. Okay, we've got another guest tonight. Hello. Hello. I don't know why you call me as teacher. uh, 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 of course, I could speak in Korean, but the main point, I would say the main reason why I'm doing this YouTube live is because uh, as much as possible, I want to explain everything in English. Of course, I could explain everything in Korean, but it's just my will. It has something to do with my will. I'll just briefly explain what I'm doing in Korea, but after a few minutes or so, I'll be speaking in English again. 오늘 방송을 하는 주제는 물론 미국 주식이에요. 미국 주식을 저는 정말 많이 해왔고, 그리고 항상 이 방송을 하면서 미국과 관련된 거를 정말 많은 기사들을 읽어왔어요. 그리고 지금도 그 미국 기사들 읽으면서 조금이라도 좀 정보를 얻고자 노력을 하는 편이랍니다. 제가 지금 읽고 있는 기사는 저는 항상 기사들을 한 10개나 20개나 30개나 엄청나게 추려서 그냥 계속 읽으려고 하는 편이에요. 그래서 지금 상황으로 봤을 때 저도 물론 미국 주식에 많이 투자를 했지만 지금 제가 투자를 한 회사 중에 메타 플랫폼이라고 마크 주커버그가 지금 있는 CEO로 있는 회사죠. 마크 주커버그 또한 다른 전문가들과 똑같이 앞으로의 경기가 정말 안 좋을 거라고 예상을 해요. 올해 말이나 내년 초나 그 내년까지 2023년까지 정말 이례적인 리세션이 올 거라고 예상을 하고 있죠. 그런 일환으로 마크 주커버그도 이제 그 일론 머스크를 포함해서 마크 주커버그도 그 get rid of employees를 계획을 하고 있어요. 그러니까 지금은 감축을 하고 있고 뭐 언젠가 다시 경기가 다시 되살아나면은 다시 hire 다시 그 고용을 하겠죠. 지금 그런 관련된 기사를 지금 읽고 있던 중이었습니다. 네. 그리고 제가 궁금했던 점은 이 기사를 쓴 저자가 있을 거 아니에요? 뭐 그렇죠? 이 저자는 또 어떻게 생각하는지 그게 궁금해가지고 그걸 또 읽고 추린 다음에 다시 설명을 하고 있었어요. 네. 예진이님? 네. 제가 설명이 제대로 되는지는 잘 모르겠네요. 네, 아무튼 대충 그렇습니다. 오늘따라 새로 오시는 분들이 되게 많긴 한데 아무튼 네. 아니 전혀 똑똑한 게 아니에요. 저는 그냥 요새 읽는 거를 그냥 조그맣게 추려본 겁니다. 어떤 경로로 오신 건지는 모르겠지만 제 취미생활이고 그냥 좋아하기 때문에 매일 하려고 하고 있어요. 아무튼 let's get back to where I was. Would you mind? Okay. Let's read this in detail and see what authors think of this trend. Okay. The CEO of social media giant Meta is pessimistic about the economy and is looking for ways to keep his company profitable. So, like I said earlier, Mark Zuckerberg also thinks the future is not as good as what he think it is, and he tries to keep his company profitable. And the ways to do it is to get rid of employees. And what else do we have in this article? Times are tough even for the giants of Silicon Valley that are accustomed to big profits. So even if it's a big giant company, it's got plan to reduce employees. I get it. Big tech is not spared, especially since the slowdown in the world economy should also impact them because they are multinationals present in many countries around the world. This is the case of Meta Platforms, okay? The parent company of social media platforms, Facebook and Instagram. Let's look at the price of Meta Platforms and see what price they have. Meta Platform. From what I know, um, they had like a 30% downward trend recently, like a few days ago or so. Okay. See, its price is now 160.033. Its all-time high was 379.38. Uh, it had like the worst downward trend within a month. Okay. If somebody planned to invest some money into this company, I would recommend it so much. But like I said earlier, we will have like the worst recession in this year, at the end of this year or the beginning of next year. Uh, People's gotta have conservative view in terms of investing, including myself. I'm not trying to invest so much money into it right now because recession, right? We'll just keep on looking at this article so we can at least know what's going on these days, right? Okay. And the next article we have is about Micron. It could take a few quarters for growth to re-emerge in semiconductors, analysts say. Take a few quarters for growth to re-emerge in semiconductors. So, um, including any other industries, semiconductor industry will likely have a recession as well. Aria downgraded the stock to a $62 per share price target, which was $8 less than his previous target. Blah, blah, blah. Micron Technology. We'll skip on this one. Micron. Texas Instruments. It's also another semiconductor company. Here it says it's trading at a discount. Let's look at the price of Texas Instruments. Texas Instruments Incorporated. Its current price is 148.54. Its all-time high was 192.37. We'll skip on this one. Let's look for interesting articles. The next one we have is about Lucid Motors, one of the EV car maker company, Lucid Motors. It's not interesting too. Oh, here's a good one. The 5 best car stocks for the second half of 2023. What 5 best car stocks do we have in this article? Here we have a GM, APTV, and Chinese EV firm NIO, and Stellantis. Well, it's all based on analyst target prices, okay? It's not my bets. It's all based on analyst target prices. Okay, let's look at this in detail. Stellantis, General Motors, parts maker APTV, Chinese EV firm NIO, and parts maker Magna International. Here it says the average gain implied by the price targets is about 66%, given where the stocks closed at the end of June. Okay. Well, I get it. I get that these are best bets, but of course, what you should know is that it's all about long-term perspective. If you are willing to invest short-term investments, probably experts or analysts wouldn't recommend investing on this one because NEO. I know that volatility of NEO is drastic. It's going up and down, like every now and then. So, okay, let's keep on this one. Is now a good time for a Roth conversion? Just out of curiosity, Yejini, are you still there? Yejini? Okay, she's gone. Okay, what do we have tonight? Roth conversion and holiday getaways pushes U.S. airport traffic to pandemic high. How to profit in the bear market? It's from analysts' recommendation. Spot opportunities even when disaster strikes. Okay, the last article that I'm going to read is about traffic in the U.S. airports. Okay, this one is the last one that I'm going to look up on, and I'll put an end to this YouTube live. The 4th of July holiday weekend is jamming U.S. airports with their biggest crowd since the pandemic began in 2020. Okay, now the pandemic is about to be over. A lot of people are going abroad or plan to travel. So now, like, airport is jammed with a lot of travelers, right? About 2.49 million passengers went through security checkpoint at U.S. airports Friday, surpassing the previous pandemic era record of 2.46 million reached earlier in the week, according to figures released Saturday by the Transportation Security Administration. The escalating numbers show leisure travelers aren't being deterred from flying by rising fares, the ongoing spread of COVID-19, or worries about recurring flight delays and cancellations. Friday's passenger volume marked a 13% increase from July 1st last year, which fell on the Thursday before 4th of July. This year's number of passengers going through U.S. airports also eclipsed to 2.35 million screened at security checkpoints on the Friday before the 4th of July in 2019, but that was nearly a week ahead of Independence Day. Okay. This is not much about investing. It's more of a like what's going on news, right? Okay. Alright. 감사합니다. 제 영상을 봐주셔서 아직도 계신지 모르겠지만 this is it for today. And I'll probably do it again tomorrow. Thanks for coming and have a good night. 와주셔서 고맙고 아마 또 할 것 같아요. 내일도 너무 좋아하기 때문이죠. 안녕히 주무세요. Bye bye everyone.